Sydney, we are live.
Sydney's live. Yay.
Hello, Rachel.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Hello, Maria. Hello, Troy.
Guys.
Well, Maria named this live, so I'm going to call out. I may have to have a reminder, but you named this live and we called it "Do you use relationship as a distractor?" Who, me? Never. Me use relationship as a distractor? No. And so you both did a relationship done different class with me over 10 weeks, and so did Troy. And I'm going to be really honest, I had so much confusion, is the word that I'm going to use, about relationship. You know, one of the things that we talk about in relationship done different is, where do you put your energy and does it work? And for me, I had no presence with where I was putting my energy and how much it didn't work. And I'm saying this just because someone's watching and they're like, where do you put your energy and does it work? You know? And one of the things that I've learned is, or become present with, I think is a better word, you know, because we talk about being, it's relationship done different is the use of the tools of access consciousness in relationship. And it's a specialty class because so many people that I know, I mean, I would say everyone that I have ever met, when I tell them I'm a relationship done different facilitator, they're like, oh, you know, can you talk to me about how come I start a relationship and it's great at the start and then it goes like, you know? And so what would you guys like to talk about? Because we can go any angle. What would be a contribution to you guys in Facebook land and YouTube? And what information can we give you that would be, we hope, a contribution to you? How about we look at what changed for you guys before you did the class and after you did the class? I think that's a nice place to start.
And actually, I was just going to say, like, the other thing that we can mention about is, like, how, I'm going to say, even like how, like, you started to acknowledge that the relationships that you were in distractors, like, or were you like always in relationships that didn't distract you and there was a contribution, or like, and actually how did you, I'm gonna say, like, started to turn that ship around?
Yeah, that's beautiful said. In those 10 weeks, we really got to dive in and to look at that. Is it a distractor? Is it working for me? Is it, and what is in that relationship working for me? And that ship is still turning this way, and it's still unraveling, and it is still giving me so much insights and awareness. I want to do another 10 weeks. Like, this has to go on. I just barely have the whole picture. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for your vulnerability in saying that. You know, when you say I've scratched the surface, and then now I'm starting to look at, like, what is my functionality in relationship? What is my point of view about myself? And so one of the points of views that I had is, I'm going to talk about romantic relationship. If I had someone who was seen to love me, then I would mean something, you know, that would validate me in some way. And when I got to that simply was not true. Like, that simply was a falsity of information. I was actually surprised at, number one, that wasn't my reality, you know, that I have to prove that I'm the right type of person by having a relationship. What, you know? And so a lot of us have a lot of judgments in regard to being loved, you know, the condition of being loved. And for me, this was something that I did my first relationship class, I'm pretty sure 2017. And I steered away from it. And then it came to a point where my relationships, they weren't creating the future. They weren't going to the future. You know, the way if you put like a rotten apple, or if you put a fresh, you know, apple off a tree into a rotten bag of apples. It rots. And I could see by the relationships that I was choosing were not working, and they were not allowing me to have more energy. When I would walk away from people, I had less energy. When I would work with a certain type of person, I had less energy. And so this whole thing of, does this person contribute to you having more energy, being stronger, knowing that you're okay, knowing that you've got this? That's a very different, I'm going to say, like, force of nature. And one of the things we do talk about in the relationship done different is the gifting of possibilities that relationship can be, and the kindness of consciousness, because we all have a choice. I could be a bitch in relationship, and I'm not ashamed to say that, because I thought that's just the way you do. You react to, the person that you're in relationship with. And so there's nothing that I'm ashamed of, because now I actually can say, I can be mean, I can be unkind, I can be unconscious. I have all those now as a choice. Also, I have to develop the presence to have the choice of, I can be kind, I can be conscious, I can gift, And this for me is a huge transformation. Yeah.
It really is, like, all the things that you just said, especially what I have been dealing with, like, lately, is this validation and significance. Please, the other person, show me that I'm significant to you, especially in relationships, not even with work and stuff, but romantic relationships has this thing where you have to prove to me that I'm significant to you, like all those insanities.
Oh, and we've been shown this everywhere as well, Maria, particularly as women, and I would ask the question then, well, what does need fulfill? Like, what does that need of, someone declaring that their love for you publicly, like, what does that fulfill? Because for me, what that fulfilled in me is that I had decided somewhere that I was wrong in relationship, and I don't work in relationship because I'm very different, and I don't fit the rules and the regulations. And this was a very painful thing for me to come away from, the pain of the lies that I bought, that I was wrong because I was different and I didn't do relationship the way that other people did, because I'm quite a free bird, like. And so I'm so grateful that you had the vulnerability to say, hey, like, that's huge, like, that you now have an environment and you're now present with that energy. Oh, I required relationship to make me significant and to validate me. How beautiful that you can say that, it's just so cool.
It is absolutely, like, the vulnerability has always been a place for me, or like the word itself. It's like, what is that? It's a bit like, I don't know how relationship go, I don't know how vulnerability goes. So it's like both those things where I always thought I wouldn't be able to even consider that, let's say. So yeah, it is
And if you're watching, vulnerability is one of the 5 elements of intimacy that we talk about, relationship done different. And vulnerability, for me, it's such a gift, because it allows you to be with the good, the bad, and the ugly, and still like yourself. I'm certainly not coming on as, someone, oh, by the way, I'm perfect, I've got it all right, I'm not like that at all. I'm actually like, hey, you know what? I like me. I have good points. I have bad points. I had ugly behaviors. I have beautiful parts of me. I have rocking parts of me. And now I can be with them all, and I'm not ashamed of who I am, and then, because of that vulnerability, being willing to be with the good, the bad, the ugly, I have more choice, because
Yeah.
yeah.
I just want to actually, like, underline, like, one of the things that you said, because, like, for me, like, just like having that space of, hey, like, I don't have to be perfect. And, like, I know I spend, like, so much time and so much energy to, like, find the right judgment. Like, if I do this way, like, then she will like me, or if I look this way, like, then she would like me. Like, there was, like, always about, like, how I should judge myself and, like, what is the right choice. And it was, like, a constant state of, judging.
Around and around and around.
And
That's just
it's
for you.
funny. Yeah. And it actually didn't work, but still, like, I was like, oh, like, eventually, like, I would be able to find the perfect girl or like the perfect match for me. And it was just like so much of insanity. And there is like, and just to acknowledge, like, there is so much insanity out there in the world about relationships. And I get like that is such a beautiful space to like just like have this 10 weeks with the
Yeah.
tools, like actually having conversations about, like, I'm sure like people that's watching now or in the future, like you see things and you go like, this, like, there must be like a different way, and you just like talk with other people and they go like, no, there isn't, this is the way it is, this is relationship, just get on with it. And like for me, like the gift of access consciousness, like just having that space for you to discover like what is true for you in relationship, and that may not be on this planet yet. Like there may be not anybody around you that choose that. So that doesn't mean that you are wrong. Like what if that means you are just different? And what if you can actually starting to explore that possibility beyond all the judgment, all the significance, all the structures? Yeah.
I love that because Shannon O'Hara, who is an Access Consciousness certified facilitator and the creator of Talk to the Entities, she said, freedom is knowing what you don't have to do. And so I'm just going to give you a simple example. Today I drove into the village. I'm teaching a body class in Germany. And so today I drove into the village and I drove in to get some like meat, you know. I was feeling like steak today with a salad. And so I drove in and there was a truck driver and he was really angry because I didn't know the rule fully. Like if you drive when there's a green light for people passing the street. And so there was a green light for people passing the street and then there was a flashing orange. And it just took me a moment to go, oh, actually, if there's nobody at the pedestrian, you can actually drive, you know? And so basically he got like super angry, like like this, and the bus was like on the other lane coming towards me. And I just sat there and I was like, no, like I freedom is knowing what you don't have to do. If that was years ago, I would be shaking in my body. I would have went to feelings. I would have went to upset. I would have went to reaction. I would have went, you fucking bastard. You know, I would have went to all of these like blame, shame, regret, and guilt, which we go into deeply in a 10-week relationship class. And I was just so happy that I had the freedom to know that what I don't have to do and what I have available to me as a choice. And so then I drive along and I'm like, wouldn't it be so much fun to live in a world where people don't get angry at you because you pause for, even if it's like a minute, like, you know, come on, folks, wake up. Like, you know, it's not the end of the world if you get, you know, delayed by 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And so I get that we've really had no conscious education in like nature is my god. Like nature is true power for me. Nature doesn't ever judge, and nature doesn't ever take, and nature doesn't ever hate, you know. And so for me it's like it's time now really for me to wake up and know what type of relationships I would like to have. And it's so funny, we just finished a 6-month business program tonight and I started crying at the end of the call because people had shown up there with so much like vulnerability and the willingness to learn and the willingness to grow. And what if, and how come I'm talking about this, but what if in relationship, like I know that I've become a greater person from knowing you, Marianne, for sure, for you, Maria, and Troy, absolutely. But what if relationships were, you know, the place where you could become greater, you know, where you could actually contribute to someone's life, that you create greater by bringing your energies together, you know. And instead of, for me, things didn't work in the past, and I would always feel less, diminished, judged, criticized. And now I really had to stick out my head and bravely, courageously walk away from relationships that were diminishing, judgmental, and criticism. You know, and it's the most beautiful thing in the world to know that you teach people how to treat you.
Exactly. Yeah. And that really stood out for me in this class, that you asked me, hey, what are your terms and conditions? What do you require in a relationship? And that was a game changer for me.
Yeah. A lot of us that are like super aware, we pick up on other people's needs, wants, and desires, and then we don't even look at, well, what would I like to have here? You know, that's if you can actually get present with what you would like to have, that's 90% of the work done, you know. And most people haven't been, as Troy said, invited to see what that is for you. Yeah. So we start tomorrow night on our 10-week journey, Thursday the 27th. And if you're out there and you're like, something has to change, you know, or I would like way more education, you know, I'm doing a lot of blaming someone else for my life not working, and that's never going to create something great. Because you're blaming someone outside of you, you know. So instead of looking at like, what is it that you can choose and go beyond or create. And so we invite you to the 10 weeks relationship done different voyage. I think someone called it. Was that you, Maria? Yeah, it's a voyage, really. Yeah, beautiful.
You know, if I may add, just because you were talking about traffic and people rushing somewhere, what if this 10 weeks journey is an invitation to slow down, look at being present with what your terms and conditions are, and look at what is really functioning for you in relationships, instead of rushing, looking at other people, whatever. But
Yeah, and this is one of the areas where your point of view really does create what's showing up for you in your relationships. It's a big one. So we invite you. And anything else?
Yeah,
I'm excited.
and even if you are watching this in the future, like 1 week from now, you can like still join. Please text us or call us for more information. And I'm personally very excited too, as Marianne.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, these tools have revolutionized my way of functioning in relationships. I've learned to care for myself, and I've learned to nurture me and honor me, and that's gold. Yeah.
this is where it all starts. It starts with us.
There you go. That's it. This is where it all starts. It starts with us. Thanks so much for your time, ladies, and I will see you tomorrow night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.